Good evening, folks. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing okay. Just sitting here shit posting up on Minds and Gab, throwing up memes, because I can. That's what I do. Anyway, I thought, since Halloween is right around the corner, and then even scarier, Election Day is right behind it, tell you, yeah, look at the beer I'm drinking, right? I would tell you about what happened to me last week. So it's Wednesday night now. I think it's the 21st. Last week my buddy Angus calls me and he goes, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm still fucking unemployed. They stole my thumb in my ass. Mom passed, so I'm not taking care of her anymore, which means I have free time for a change." He goes, "I gotta burn sick days. Let's get out of town." I'm down. He goes, "We'll go up to Chevelon. We'll go camping for 4 days." Double down. I'm always outside. That's why I live here. I don't like to be in the house if I can be outside of the house. So when you live in a place like this, you spend 10 months outdoors. We decide we're going to go up to the Rim, which is north of town, and it's an escarpment that overlooks the rest of the valley heading down south. It's actually a beautiful place. It's really, really nice. But we've had a horrible year and it's been bone dry. Anyway, we pack all the gear and we're off. When we get up there, we leave here 11 o'clock Wednesday morning. By 2:30 we're setting camp up there. We made stops along the way, but by 2:30 we're setting camp. Just still early enough to get all the tents up, get all the stuff out. Now the fire restrictions are insane up there because it is bone dry. Had a horrible year. There has been no rain. Even down in the valley, it's crazy. That means no campfires, which is one of my favorite things to do camping, because that's how I like to camp. The other way I like to camp is I like to go as far off the grid as possible so my phone doesn't work. I have music stored on my phone if I want music, but I don't want my goddamn cell phone to ring while I'm in the middle of nowhere trying to relax. This is one of those places. We get up there 2:30, we pull out the tents, we get the tents up, we start getting everything set up, we let the dogs out, we water the dogs. About 5 o'clock we decide it's time to eat. So, no campfire, set up the stove, throw on a pan. We're just gonna eat. Simple, because the first night, nobody wants to work that hard. Normally we would cook like men, but we're both tired, we're both old, and it's already been a long day. Throw the pan up, throw some butter in the pan, throw some hot dogs in the pan. He goes, "Where's the rolls?" I said, "They're in the food box." He goes over to the food box, he pulls the rolls out that I bought that morning. And this should have been indicator number 1. Now again, I don't have any cell service in this place. Pulls the rolls out, he goes, "Dude, when did you buy these things? They're all moldy." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, they're starting to mold over." I bought them that morning. This is America, where they pump your food full of so many chemicals that mold is inhibited. But it is what it is. Hey, pick the mold off the rolls, and you eat the rolls. We had, beans, right? Franks and beans, simple food. We get some food in the stomach, but yeah, now my stomach doesn't feel right. There's a big knot there that I don't want to say paranoia, more like a panic knot. I don't get them very often, and I rarely ever get them out in the middle of nowhere. Because I live in Arizona, and when I camp, I don't own any guns, but I borrow them from friends. So we're armed to the fucking teeth anyway. And the part of the state we're in isn't like coyote trafficking area. He's like, dude, you're right. I'm like, oh, it must have been rolls, but I feel good. I pop a couple of beers. We relax and we just veg. Now, he goes to pull the lanterns out. He bought a brand new lantern that's really nice for $175 that I would have never spent on it. But it's really nice, propane lantern. Well, it's got these new accordion mantles that are supposed to be in the box. But they're not. So now, no mantles. Can't use the lantern. He goes to grab his spare out. Now, this is all his gear. I didn't bring any of mine. I have a ton, but no sense in doubling up. He pulls his other lantern out. Both the mantles on it have disintegrated. They're gone. Bounced around too much because you have to four-wheel in. We are back in the backcountry. All right, well, you know, it's not like we're in bear country or anything, and you don't need the light. We have flashlights and headlamps, so yeah, fuck it. Sit in the dark and we'll just drink beer, and I'll drink beer. He doesn't drink. Just relax and we'll look at the stars and the shooting stars, because it was the week before the Orionids came in. The Orionids are this week. Just kicking back and bullshitting, and I go and disappear out into the woods, take care of some business, and my stomach settles down a little. I feel a little better, so I have a couple hours. Stay up till about 8:30. Right? We're both tired. It's been a long day. We're old fucking guys anyway. So I take Fuzzface because she's with me. And we go and hop off into the tent. The weather forecast is absolutely beautiful. It is 78 degrees in the daytime, high 40s at night. You do that. The entire time that we're setting camp, I'm putting peanuts out. There's squirrels, chipmunks, blue jays, ravens, whatever. I like animals, but we haven't seen any game on the way up. And it is so dry up there, all the water tanks are empty. A water tank is like a holding area for water for the animals to drink. Water tank. Virtually bone dry. I don't see anything holding any standing water, and I see a little bit of green grass. Everything else is done. It's just literally bone dry. Normally when you're up there, you run into deer and elk and stuff because it's the high country and that's where they are. Shitty year, no rain. Anyway, it's quiet. We watch the stars. I drink a few beers. 8:30. We go, time to rack out. Fuck it. We'll get up in the morning and we'll go run down into the Forest Lake store and we'll grab some mantles for the lanterns. And exhausted. Hit the rack, down for 4, get up, walk outside, do the business that happens to old men when you become old men, go back inside, go back to sleep. Dog is just out. She's got her own sleeping bag. She's... Wake up the next morning, I talk to Angus, and I'm like, dude, how'd you sleep last night? He goes, I didn't sleep worth shit. With the dog in my lap the whole night, the dog was freaking out. So he's hitting on whatever I'm not hitting on. I'm still oblivious at this point. Doesn't make any sense. But my phone goes off. My phone doesn't have any signal. Why the fuck does my phone go off? I get an emergency broadcast message. Emergency broadcast system says flash flood watch for the area we're in till 7:30 tonight. I look up in the sky and there's not a cloud in the sky. Arizona is known for big blue skies like Montana. I look at the date. It is 6 months to the day from where we are. So it was March, whatever the day was, 10th or something. I don't fucking remember. But it was literally 6 months March to the day in October that we were there. And I'm like, so, all right, dude, we better be ready because 6 months ago they said we were going to get rain. Laugh. It's a joke. He goes to pull up his phone. He's on Verizon. My clock is still working by itself because it's not connected to anything, so it's just running on time. He goes, what time do you have? I said, it's like 8:30. He goes, my clock says it's 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, huh? All right, well, we're off the grid, right? So, you expect shit like this to happen. We go to his truck says 10:30. It's a lot of discrepancy from 3 different objects, but is what it is. We knocked together some breakfast. Sausage, eggs, tortillas, salsa, hot sauce. The dogs are only too happy because we're camping and they get all the leftovers. So my dog and his dog are happy as a pig of shit. Set the hammocks, do a quick sweep of the camp, pick up all the trash, make sure everything's good, no glass, no rocks, right? All the bullshit you do. And then we decide we're going to run down to Forest Lake, get some mantles. It's stuff that we missed, paper towels. It was a shakedown trip. I haven't been out in 2 weeks. As we're driving, we're not seeing anything. Not a rabbit, not a squirrel, not a freaking chipmunk, virtually no birds. Weird because of where we are, but it's so dry. You're like, maybe, because, there's no water. So animals will move to chase water. You can understand. We get back to the camp, and all the peanuts and stuff that I had set out the night before, you would have expected would have been picked up by coons, skunks, jays, ravens, something. They're all still on the stumps, nothing ever touched them. We've been at a camp for like 3 hours. I'll back this up a little. When she gets up, we have to go for a walk. We just have to. That is our routine. So I leave Angus and Gunner sleeping. Me and the dog just fuck off. We go for a walk. Walk down the trail, and I see some old cattle track. I see some old deer track, but that's about it. There's not really anything around. We get back to camp after shopping. Peanuts haven't been touched, which is amazing, because peanuts, when you're out in the woods, go like that. I mean, a blue jay will land 5 feet away from you to take a peanut off a stump. Nothing. Look up. No birds. I see a crow and a jay. They don't come within 50 yards of camp. So this is fucking weird, man. The bread molded. The clocks are all off. Birds won't come into camp. There are no animals around. Is what it is. Give me 1 second. I forgot to mention, he's got one of those digital track and watch things. That's not working either. But it's not supposed to, because we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's the beauty of being out in the middle of nowhere. We get back from Forest Lakes, 2 in the afternoon. Want to go take a nap? Too goddamn hot. Everything's just lit up by the sun. There is no afternoon nap going on. It's like, ugh, can't fucking catch a break. Take the dog for a walk and diddy bop around. It was a beautiful area, and there was a ton of juniper and oak. And had we been able to have a fire, we could have had a fire for 3 weeks. There was so much just wood laying on the ground, could have picked up the top. No fires, too dry. It was nice to get out and hike around the woods and checking all the scat, and all the scat's dry. And I don't see, I see some deer scat, a couple of dried out cow pies. I'm not seeing coyote scat or anything. And again, no animals anywhere in the forest. Usually when you're kicking around the forest, squirrel, bird, whatever, dead, quiet, nothing. Again, still writing it off to super dry up here. Animals are smart enough to chase the water. Get back to camp, and it's like, 4 o'clock, and he's like, dude, you want to start setting dinner? And I'm like, sure, no problem. So, steaks, right, onions, mushrooms, all the fixings. I don't know if you know, but I like to eat. Get everything prepped. He's got the steaks marinating all day, which is actually pretty nice. And I'm not usually much of a marinated steak kind of guy, but it came out really well. You're hearing that, right? That would wake you from the dead. That's the reason I'm pointing that out. So we have fresh mantles because we went down. We stick mantles in his old lantern. They won't work with his new lantern. They're the wrong kind. Finished dinner. Now, I'm on vacation, so I'm drinking. I don't know about the rest of you people, but 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm cracking a beer. I'm like, fuck this. About 3 beers before dinner. We have dinner, and I've got a big, fat, loaded meat belly from steak and mushrooms and onions and taters and all the good shit that makes food so good and life so delicious. Get his lantern lit. We have those portable speaker things. So we're just listening to tunes, kicking back, relaxing. We're sitting around bullshitting because it's been a horrendous fucking year. We don't have fire, but we have a lantern, so there's no watching shooting stars tonight. And Angus didn't get any sleep. I slept pretty well, but I've had a few beers and I can sleep. And Fuzzface here ate about half my food, which is pretty much her normal toll. What are you eating? Can I have some? Cruel. Anyway. Yeah, probably have 6 or 8 beers. We go and we rack out. Now, the first 4 hours, dead to the world. You could drop a bomb on me, I am not going to notice. I'm already tired, it's been a long day. I don't sleep worth shit anyway most of the time. I'm old. But I'm out, and I have Fuzzface with me, and you hear that bark, right? I did a video not too long ago where I told you the story about her waking me up from a dead friggin' sleep at 4:30 in the morning because she had cornered a cat that fell in the pool. Just a loud bark. I'm done. I'm out. It's 8:30, right? Unconscious. Boom. I get up about 12:30. I can't breathe. Now again, we're at 8,000 feet. So we've got some elevation going on, but I've been able to breathe all day. So's Angus. Wake up, can't breathe. I'm super dehydrated on top of it. I'm drinking beer, go figure, right? So, Get up, I throw my boots on, walk over to the cooler, and I grab a couple of cans of fizzy water, bring them back to the tent. And I'm laying there, and I'm laying there, and I'm laying there, and you know that one where you lay there and you can't get to sleep, and you're like, but I gotta get sleep. You can't get sleep, but you gotta get sleep. Just laying in the bed, and I'm all tucked in. Now the temperature has dropped. It is literally about 33 degrees out. It's fucking cold. Inside the bag, I'm okay. Outside the bag, major shrinkage. The dog's fine. She's on a folded up sleep bag, and I threw a whoopee over on top of her poncho liner. She's fine. She kicks the poncho liner off because whatever, crazy ass dog. And I can't sleep, and I'm in and out. 45 minutes here, an hour there. 45 minutes here, an hour there. Get up in the morning, 5:30, because I'm done laying in bed. Can't take it anymore. Throw some clothes on, boots. Take the dog, and we go for a walk. Come back, turn the stove on, boil some water, make some tea. Angus comes out. I'm like, dude, did you sleep last night? He goes, did you hear the coyotes? I'm like, no. He goes, you didn't hear the coyotes last night? I'm like, no, dude, I was unconscious. Out, done. So, like, what time? He goes, like, 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, fuck no. I was dead to the world. Apparently. Let's roll this backwards. I've been unimproved camping in this town for 30 years. If we're going to camp, I like to camp as far away from civilization as possible. Worried about very few things when we're out there. And again, I borrow weapons so that we're armed to the teeth. There's nothing to fear in the middle of nowhere. Outside of a cougar or a bear, I'm more scared of cougars than bears. Fucking golden. This is where it gets fucking weird, man. It wasn't odd enough that the bread molded out of nowhere. It wasn't odd enough that all the clocks were out of sync. It wasn't odd enough that between the two of us we had that weird panic paranoia feeling. About 9 o'clock, the coyotes came into camp. Now, there are two large adult males, and the first thing when you do is camp is if you have to piss, you start to mark the perimeter of your camp. Okay? So, go out as far as you want and start marking from there, but make sure it's a big fucking circle. Make sure you piss up high enough so when anything that comes by smells it, says, motherfucker's gonna be like 12 feet tall. Two large canines. Not little rat dogs, big dogs. That's 70 pounds, and Gunner's got to run closer to 90. On top of that, we all carry weapons. So there's the cordite stink. Now, everything right here usually tells things like coyotes and coons, ringtails to stay out of the camp. They pick up the smell because their smell's like 10, 15, 20,000 times as good as ours. Pick up the aroma, and they know to cut it a big fucking swath away. Now, the coyotes came into camp that night, and they actually, now I can't say if they did anything to my tent, but I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. She didn't wake me up, and she could wake me up from a dead sleep. You've heard that bark. Angus and Glenn. Angus and Glenn had issues. Angus and Gunner had issues. I always travel with a piece of silver in my pocket. I have an ounce slug of silver in my pocket for 2 reasons. A, it's contact disinfectant. Silver kills microbes. You hold it for 15 seconds, it kills whatever microbes you've touched. An ounce of silver is worth somewhere north of $20 right now. So God forbid I was ever goat fucked, I could sell it off for $15 and be able to make a phone call and get my ass out of whatever shithole I'm in. Not to mention vampires and werewolves, right? During the night, they had fucked with Angus and Gunner. Apparently they didn't fuck with me because they didn't wake the fucking dog up. And when she barks, you can hear her. And when she's nervous, she will crawl in my lap. None of that happened. I always have silver in my pocket. So when I'm talking to him in the morning, he goes, "You didn't hear any of that?" It's like, "Nah, I was dead to the fucking world, dude. I got up like 12:30. He goes, "We're out in the fucking camp. They're prowling around. Gunner's going crazy." I'm not going to doubt him, right? Got 2 dogs, so it's hard to look for anything else's track in the camp. But once you get outside of camp, it's a little bit easier. Now, the 2 dogs never went more than 20 yards from camp anyway. Okay? They would circle out and then come back in. Which is fine, because that's what she does. That's her breed. And it worked for Gunner too, because there were 2 of them, so they stayed together. The only thing they hit while they were in camp was there was a Ziploc full of dog food. And the Ziploc was in an NBC bag, Nuke Bio Chem bag, right? It's a satchel to carry your NBC gear. They tried to take it out and shredded the corner of the bag to get to the dry dog food, but other than that, don't touch anything else. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see any track. I don't see any scat, which changed. I did see scat later on. But it doesn't make any sense. Just when the big game would have went down, predators would have followed. It doesn't make sense for the coyotes to stay up there if there's nothing for them to eat. No bunnies, no squirrels, no mice, no rats. He goes, "Dude, I'm not spending another night up here." He got no sleep that night. He was in his rack with the dog in his lap the whole night. Again, if I had a problem, fuckface would have been right up there and would have woke me up. He goes, "You know, everything seems off. Everything seems wrong here." I hadn't said anything to him, but I got that really, really negative energy nexus kind of feeling that it's hard to explain. If you walk into one, you'll know. Yeah. But it's really powerful. He turns to me, goes, "I don't think I can do this for another night, dude. I can't do another night and not sleep, and something is wrong here. Something is off here." Well, I'm not going to argue with him. It seemed like everything was off there. It was... It's like that... I don't know if you ever visited Arizona. If you visit Arizona, you wind up in Sedona, where the hippie crystal people are hippie in crystal, and hippie crystal all day long. But they will tell you there are vortexes out by the canyon, and there are. It's a weird energy thing. I don't know if it's magnetic ley lines. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I've been to the area we've been to before. Never had this experience before. He used one of my favorite lines on me to get us out of there. He goes, dude, I can't do this anymore. If it was up to me, we'd bounce. And I'd be like, well, why do you want to bounce, dude? Because I'm happy to be out of town. But at the same time, I'm not super comfortable. I'm just not freaking out yet. He goes, dude, can't argue with the universe. Sometimes the universe says something, you need to listen. And I'm like, I firmly believe in that one. I mean, that's like one of my personal mottos. Pay attention. See what things are saying. Do what they tell you to do. We strike camp and we get the fuck out of there. In the middle of the night, neither one of us could breathe. The air been sucked out. Sucked out. And don't get me wrong, I smoked for 38 years. He didn't. He couldn't fucking breathe. The air was gone. That was what woke me up at 12:30 in the morning. I thought it was cotton mouth from drinking. Oh no, sir. So after he said that, and we're talking at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, alright dude, you want to bounce? We can bounce. I'm good with that. I don't like the fucking feel here. The energy is wrong. Wrap it, scrap it, pack it, and we're out of here. What should have taken us maybe 2 hours to break down camp took us the better part of 4. And we all, well, both of us, had to stop, sit down, and catch our breath because there was no oxygen there. We were fucking depleted. It has been this one's actually scarier than the time we were out at Gope, and I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep. I was positive I was going to die. So I went out to the campfire and I lit a cigarette and drank a beer. I went back in, I got another 2 hours of sleep, and then later on I went out and walking around to take a shit, didn't have the dog with me. Cat track about that big. That's a big puma. Cat track about that big, about 30 yards off of camp, and that's what woke me the fuck up and scared the fuck out of me. Cats are the scariest things on the goddamn planet. But anyway, wrap this up at 33. We come back down. We're done. I'm telling a story to a friend of mine. She's an Indian. She goes, Skinwalkers, dude. What? She goes, you had Skinwalkers in your camp, man. What the fuck is a Skinwalker? And she goes, they're Indian ghosts, they're shapeshifters, they're evil. It's an evil, evil entity. It's an evil presence. You had them in your camp. And I'm like, well, why didn't they fuck with me? She goes, you had silver with you, right? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, scared of silver, they won't fuck with you, man. Give me a minute. I gotta go take a leak, folks. Folks, everything I told you is 100% true. Giving these away to people as tokens, as good luck charms. Basically, really, for nothing more than leave it in your pocket. It's contact disinfectant, so you shouldn't be picking up nasty-ass germs like a worry stone. This one's years old. Is what it is. It's just an ounce of silver. You can get one for 25, 30 bucks online. When we got back, Offloaded the truck, got everything put away. At some point during the trip, we had made the joke and said, oh, ancient Indian burial ground, nothing's working. Goddamn stupid, but not too far off the mark, according to my friend, who said, there's lots of bad shit that happened up there. It was the General Crook Trail that goes up there. General Crook wasn't a particularly nice fella. It's not true. General Crook was a white guy. In the 1870s and 1880s, he was establishing his way through. Is what it is. This isn't the first weird thing I've had happen to me out here, but this is definitely the weirdest. Angus calls me the next day. He goes, dude, I think we had shapeshifters, man. And I went, what? He goes, I think we had shapeshifters. Fucking weird. And I was like, dude, I talked to my friend Chris Jackie, and she said, we had shapeshifters. The only thing was, I didn't think I had this because it wasn't in my pocket, it was in my pack. Anyway, that's my Halloween story for you guys. It's 100% true. I'm blowing no smoke up your ass. And not a little fella. Not by any stretch of the imagination a snowflake. This was one of the weirdest, oddest things I have ever experienced in my life, and I've got a few fucking miles under my belt. Ran into my boy Adam, and I'm bullshitting with him. He goes, dude, you had shapeshifters in your camp. And I'm like, what's everybody saying fucking shapeshifters? They were shapeshifters. Shapeshifters are the Indian legend. They're witches, cannibals, demons. Really, really odd shit. If you've gotten this far, do a search and look for Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers. And you'll be like, whoa, because I did, and I was like, whoa. I think that's what it was, man. Predators follow game. They don't stay behind when game leaves. Ever. Even coyotes. Meat's meat, man's gotta eat. Thanks for watching. Folks, have a nice one. It's contact disinfectant. It's good against vampires and werewolves. Apparently it's good against shapeshifters too. Skinwalkers. Apparently it's good against skinwalkers too. Guys, have a nice one. Again, everything I've said here is true. If you're interested another time, hit me up. I'll tell you my Bigfoot story. And then you'll be like, dude, West is a weird place. We're still wide open. There's still a lot of territory out here. Alright, folks, thank you for watching. Thanks for sharing. New folks, thanks for signing up. I'll catch you on the next one. Salute.